What's up, Peoria? I'm Adam Wasson, filling in for Doug Pinter today here on the Pinter and Patrick show with Patrick Thompson here. How you doing today, Pat?
I'm doing good, Adam. How about yourself?
Doing well. All right, so you're wearing the pink shirt. I'm wearing the pink shorts.
Yep.
What do we got going on here?
So this is Standing Up to Cancer for the American Cancer Society. Doug Pinter of Anytime Fitness Peoria. He's standing up to cancer for the next 30 days. Well, there's been some days in the past, but he's standing up to cancer. He's going to wear pink every single day for 30 days so he can stand up to cancer. If you go to Anytime Fitness Peoria's Facebook page, you can find a link and check out more information about that. So
that's awesome. Is he taking donations for that?
Absolutely.
On the Anytime Fitness page?
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. What do we got going on today?
Well, we have your buddies TF Sports here today. I know
Yes,
one guy, I think Waffles is gone, so we're doing IHOP today.
IHOP, no waffles.
And they've been talking a lot about local sports, some of the major sports as well, and you've even been on there a couple times, right?
Yeah, that's they do Iron Athlete Player of the Week every week, so that's pretty awesome. And so usually we talk about the sports on here, but we figure why not bring the experts in? They've got their podcast going, The Facts with Waffles Kelly. They're tossing out 2 a week right now. Every Tuesday they're doing an Iron Athlete Player of the Week. Mm-hmm. Every Friday they're doing a preview for the Game of the Week. So awesome stuff. They talk about a lot of college sports, all kinds of sports, professional, everything that way. So with NBA coming up, there's going to be a lot of that on there. NFL season's obviously going strong, so they've got that on there. Pretty big Illini fans, so once college basketball gets closer, I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot about Illini men's basketball, mm-hmm. which should be an exciting year for that. Some big changes coming through there. So
definitely.
Let's hear from those guys. How about that?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get them on here.
Sounds good. All right, we're back here. We got our TF Sports guys with us here at Iron Athlete Performance in North Peoria. So this is Fid here, Jack Fittis. He's one of the founders of TF Sports, and this is Tom Leese. He is the other founder, along with Waffles Kelly, who is not with us today, sadly. Out slinging those Yeezys at Kohl's. Oh, yeah. That's the way he does it.
Is Waffles, is that his real name? I mean...
It's his adopted name, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He doesn't really go by anything else anymore at this point. So
it's just Waffles.
Yeah, he's rolling with Waffles.
Dig it. I dig it.
Absolutely.
So these guys, TF Sports, they got The Facts with Waffles Kelly, their podcast that they're putting out a few times a week. Talking a lot about high school sports. What do we got this week for the Game of the Week?
Well, the Game of the Week this week is actually Dunlap, 5-0, travels to Washington. They're 4-1, but undefeated in the Mid-Illini. So the winner of this game is going to take sole possession of first place in the Mid-Illini. There are stars on both teams. We've had a player from both teams already represented in our Player of the Week poll. So we're looking for big plays, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, which is always exciting at the high school level, and should just be a really good game. The crowds are both going to be out. You know, those Mid-Illini teams definitely get the communities involved, and this is one of the biggest games that you're going to see, at a high school level. Both fan bases are absolutely stoked, and there's a lot on the line.
Definitely. You guys were at the Dunlap game last week, right? Dunlap Morton?
Yeah, me and Waffles
went.
went.
Dunlap student section. That was pretty crazy. I've never seen Dunlap fill up the stands like that. So
definitely not. You can tell that their entire fan base is excited about the team they have, and even the players and coaches themselves. They can tell they're building something special out at Dunlap right now, and people are taking notice. Actually, on our podcast that came out this morning, Waffles has a little bit of trouble with the variety of cheers that the Dunlap student section went with. He wanted to see, I guess, a little bit more variety. He told us he was a little disappointed. Yeah. I thought they did just fine for the record, but now you're definitely going to be able to see 2 student sections at the game tonight, because we know Washington, the Orange Crush, it always is out in full force regardless of who they're playing, and this is as big as it gets. So
definitely. How about some predictions on that game?
Well, I like Washington. I think they're going to be able to wear down Dunlap, play 4 quarters in the trenches, and I don't think Dunlap, who really their strength is speed and using the full field. I think Washington's coaching staff is very experienced in, following through with their game plan. So I think they're going to do that again. They're used to these high caliber matchups, and I see them picking up the win. But what do you think, Fid?
I see Dunlap taking the game. I mean, the way they spread out the field and the way that they use those athletes, I don't think Washington can really, keep up with them the whole game. It's going to be tough for them on the outside to really be able to cover those guys outside of like Sam Walter. So it should be a really fun game to see.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Do you have any athletes from either of those schools, Adam?
This year, let's see. I actually do not have. I worked a little bit with some of the Washington guys 2 years ago, and a little bit with some of the Dunlap guys also 2 summers ago. So nobody that I'm working directly with right now or in the past summer here, but I know there's a lot of good guys on that team. I mean, Jerry, I was in Nick's class and real good friends with his brother PJ. So, I mean, Jerry, he's an absolute stud. Going to Northwestern, and there's a reason he's doing that. And I think that that's my prediction. I'm taking Dunlap for that exact reason, is that star power there. I think that these guys, they've got something that Dunlap hasn't had in years, and they know it, and they're going to work for it. I really like the tradition that Dunlap brings with their football team. Washington as well, obviously, but Dunlap, they kind of remind me of like how Central was 3 or 4 years ago with that, like, you see them build and you're just kind of waiting for them to get up to the top there because you know it's coming. So I think it's going to be an exciting one for sure. But I could see it being an overtime game. I could see it being coming down to 1 or 2 possessions. It's definitely not going to be like last week where Dunlap just plowed Morton. It's not going to be anything like that. So it should be a fun one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely should be a fun one to keep your eye on.
All right, got to ask now too. Our alma mater, Notre Dame, it's homecoming tonight. They're playing Richwoods. It's going to be a tough one. Richwoods has an incredible team this year. I've had 6 or 7 Richwoods guys that I've coached the past year here, done strength training with, and they're strong.
Yeah,
they're strong. Talking about where IHOP today, their line is IHOP because they are just pancaking guys. Cody Wright, Weldy on the line there, man, they are just throwing guys around. Notre Dame, they've got some size, but I don't know. Are they going to be able to match up? What do you think the keys are to that one for them?
Oh, it's going to be tough because this is something you never see out of Richwoods. They're spreading the ball this year in a spread offense. It seems like they just completely abandoned their belly go-to like they normally have. But I think Notre Dame can keep up with them, kind of like they did Central. But I think Notre Dame's going to have to control the ball and really just use that wing T offense to why you run it. I mean, just ball control. Keep it out of Richwood's hands.
Definitely.
What's Richwood's record?
Richwoods is at 3-2 right now, I believe.
They lost to Rock Island and who?
Normal, I believe.
Yeah, normal community in Rock Island. So 1 loss inside the Big 12 division, but 2 total. Notre Dame's sitting at 2-3.
Yeah. And
so it'll be a big game. I think the teams are pretty evenly matched when fully healthy, but Notre Dame's been hit with the injury bug as of late. But I think they're getting some guys back this week, and this is the Shamrock Classic, and every time both past 2 seasons they've gone down to Dozer Park for a game, it's just been absolutely entertaining as it gets, competitive. You can expect that again out of this game, like hands down, these 2 teams are going to fight. I think this is one of those games, rivalry games at the high school level, you throw rosters and records out the window, and these 2 teams are just going to go out and battle regardless of what they look like coming in, and you can guarantee that they're both going to come out stronger because these kind of games, like at the high school level, just the intensity, it brings out the best in teams, and I know both coaching staffs are prepared to get their kids ready, so I think you're going to see the best version of both teams, and that's really why I'm looking forward to it so much. I'll give the slight nod to Richwoods, just because I think, like Fid said, their talent on the outside is just a little bit too – I see it overmatching Notre Dame a little bit, but if they can control the ball and control the clock, and like Fid said, just 4 yards at a time, that's saying we all heard a lot of while we were there.
Oh, yeah.
So 4 yards at a time, which is usually Richwood's same motto, but you got to play to your strength, and Coach Brown's doing a great job at doing that with the roster he has this year. But I'll just give the slight nod to Richwoods, but don't be shocked to see that go into overtime either, that game.
Oh, definitely. I don't think there's been a single game down at Dozer for the Shamrock that hasn't been exciting. Have they gone into overtime the past 2 years when they played down there?
Well, the Normal West game didn't reach overtime, but it was 27-point comeback in the second half.
That's right.
I remember, Luke Shadid and Central's Fred Dixon both having huge games in that one for Notre Dame. And last year, Fred again having a big game in that matchup against Central. And that was when Central was at the top, undefeated. Before that Galesburg loss, and we all know Central won state last year, and Notre Dame really kept up with them when they had no business to last year. So that's just what makes me think Notre Dame's going to stay in this game regardless. I think they're very disciplined. That's what their coaching staff always, hammers into the kids' heads, and they're getting some talent back, and I just see them fighting hard enough to stay in this game.
Definitely. It's going to be exciting. So that's what we got this week in high school sports. Pat?
For Peoria High, one question I had that I was curious about, they've lost to Richwoods, right?
Yeah.
And then did they lose to a Bloomington team as well?
They lost to Normal West to open the year.
So is it is it because they've lost some guys on defense? What is that? What do you attribute their 2 losses to as opposed to last year? They only had 1 loss to Galesburg, which, it could have been a
little bit of a fluke.
Yeah. Definitely.
But, this year they don't seem like they're the team to beat right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of teams, like you said, in the area are strong, like Dunlap and Richwoods that we've talked about, and Washington even. So it's hard to call Peoria High the team to beat with 2 early losses, but I'll tell you what, their quarterback, Karan Taylor, has the pedigree of a guy who can lead a team to victory against anybody in the state,
True.
And you see it. They've put up 70 points, 80 points, 90 points in games this year already. So I think even though their defense is not playing up to par, I know their philosophy going into games is like, we will outscore you even if we have to give up some points. We will outscore you at the end. And I just think they've given up a little too much, but I see the defense only tightening up more and more from here. Last week I went to the second half in the Bloomington game that they had 94 points in, and it was ridiculous. But it was, back and forth, scoring, and you just kind of want to throw your hands up and say, like, Central's defense is going to do it again. They're going to make, this team score 80 points just to win. But in the second half, they hunkered down, and I think that just showed, like, a little bit of the strength that you see. And I think it showed the philosophy that Coach Thornton wants to go into games like, yeah, you can score with us through the first half, but third quarter, fourth quarter, when Karan's still running down your throat, Fred Dixon, Geno Hess run it down your throat, and Karan can always beat you with his arm. So
he's the triple threat quarterback for sure.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that the defense hasn't lived up to expectations. We know they lost Kendrick Green, who's at U of I now, but I think you see the people stepping in, getting more and more experience as the weeks go by, and when you have that offense, it's a good bailout. So I expect to see that defense continue improving and that offense staying at the level they're at. And even though they don't look like the team to beat now, it would not surprise me at all week 9 to have that narrative change and to have them once again become the team to be in the area, because you just don't see this kind of talent level in the Peoria area. It's almost like 8A Chicago team offense that they're running. No one can stop them.
It's true. And that's one where Thornton, he has stayed true to his hurry-up offense. They're getting maybe, 7 seconds, 8 seconds between each play.
Yeah.
Just getting up there, getting on the line. And that's, like you said, that's something that Peoria teams aren't used to seeing. That's a Chicago-style offense, like a Simeon, Oak Park, any of those guys, the bigger schools up there. They can get away with that because they've got the platoon a lot of times. Coach Thornton, he plays a little bit of a platoon, but he's got a lot of guys going both ways too, which huge credit to those guys for going so quick.
Yeah.
Coming out there again on defense. And
it's definitely, I want to give major credit to that coaching staff for, it could be discouraging to have your team give up 80 points in a game, but he got the win, and he has faith in his system. And you have athletes like Karan Taylor and Geno Hess and Fred Dixon that you're not putting on the defensive side of the ball to save them for offense. And it could be very frustrating, I know, for their fan base and even for their team. But it pays out in the end, and you have to give credit where it's due. When you just stick with the game plan, it really shows that he has confidence in himself and in his team. And when you're a high school kid, to have when you've given up 70 points already in a game and your coach still has faith in you to get the stop, that says a lot, and that can change the mindset of a kid, a 16, 17-year-old kid, and it can make you better in the long run.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's like Karan, like you were saying, where it's a risky move to keep those guys fresh for offense. Karan, he's built to be the perfect middle linebacker, outside linebacker.
Absolutely.
But Coach Thornton's sticking with his system. He knows that he's got other guys who can play those positions. And so he's keeping Karan fresh for offense. It worked great for him last year, because I thought the same thing last year when I saw Karan. He would be incredible. You put him at any other school in the Peoria area, he's probably going to be an all-conference defensive player as well.
He has a chance, to be like an all-state defensive player.
Oh, for sure.
With the way he moves out there, so.
And that's Coach Thornton not taking that risk with him, keeping him fresh for offense. It's also, that's huge for Karan's longevity as a player. He's going to go play next year at U of I as a quarterback there. And so Coach Thornton, that's one, he doesn't want him out there getting hurt on defense, ruin those college chances for him. So huge props to him on that.
Yeah.
Got to mention, talked about the Bloomington game last week. Coach Walters, he was at Notre Dame when you guys were there. I coached under him. He hit his 50th win this year as a head coach. So huge props to Coach Walters on that. Big congrats there.
Absolutely. And like I said, I was at that Bloomington Peoria High game last week, and something that you saw out of Coach Walters' teams that did not shock me at all, just no quit. The team stood by each other. When you're in a game against a team that good and you feel like you can win, and then it kind of just slips away from you in the fourth quarter, you saw a lot of their kids' heads get down, but right away you saw Coach Walters, the rest of his coaching staff, their teammates, and even I saw a parent, hop the fence and go sit with his kid. Like, Coach Walters just teaches the kids to be good men as well as good football players. It's something he taught at Notre Dame, and it's something he's continued to teach at Bloomington. Big props on his 50th win, but his coaching goes further than even the football field. Oh, completely. He's one that I played for him. I've coached under him. You guys played for him, and he's one. There's still lessons that I think about today, or when I see Coach Walters' name in the paper or anything like that. It's one where I think about stuff that he did for us, did for you guys, did for me, get me started as a coach, and still, he'll keep in touch with me anytime that he sees me do something or anything like that. He'll hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, and still just awesome guy. And of course, Katie, Mama Walters. She's the best. She's taking care of the team. Juice boxes after practice. Exactly. It's it was you guys' senior year when she brought chicken soup into the locker room week 13 because it was so cold. That's one, you don't get many coaches' wives doing that. So huge props to Mama Walters on that one.
Very cool, guys. Well, anything else to add to, the high school sports? Anything other than the football?
Well, just the other games that we didn't mention in the area. Don't want to leave anyone out. Canton looks to get back after 3 straight losses, looks to get their first conference win against East Peoria. We know they had high expectations going into the year, so we'll see if they can get that win. Limestone's still looking for their first win. They go to Metamora tonight. Metamora is looking to stay bowl eligible, so I'm looking for that to be a good game. And then Peak and Morton, still both 2-1 in the conference, outside chance to win the Mid-Illini. I think you see that be a very competitive game, 2 teams that are going to play hungry. So that's just what we have coming up this week for the rest of the slate of high school games in the area. But just moving forward, look out for our podcast on Tuesdays where we're going to nominate our Iron Athlete Performance Prep Player of the Weeks, and on Fridays when we're going to preview Game of the Weeks, because even though we're just talking about, a certain amount of athletes or games, we usually get to covering most of the slate during the podcast. So if you ever want to go somewhere for your prep news, you can definitely tune into the podcast and follow us at TF Sports 309 either on Twitter or Facebook, and we're just going to keep putting out more and more, and this is only the beginning.
Definitely, and that's if you guys got anything that from the Peoria Life listeners, viewers, if you guys have anything that you would like to hear them talk about, local sports. I know Doug will probably want to hear a local golf day sometime.
Yeah.
But so that's one. Go on the Facebook page, TF Sports 309. Is that right?
Yep.
TF Sports 309, Facebook or Twitter. mention them on there, tweet them on there, send them a message, anything that way. Tell them what you want to hear about, and there's a good chance they'll talk about it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We love feedback.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you being here.
Yep.
Looking forward to a lot more good talks with you guys.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on, man.
You bet.
Definitely.
What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed TF Sports 309 on here on the Pinter and Patrick Show. Tom and Jack, great insight with the high school local sports. Don't you agree there?
Oh, definitely. And I want to just toss something out real quick. Those guys are 19, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's one, I mean, they talk like they've been doing this for years, but they just got started that way. So big things to come for sure.
And it's really cool to see, I don't want to call them kids, but teenagers, young
Kids
men.
to us make us feel old.
Yeah. And they're, I mean, essentially going out of their comfort zone to put stuff out there, and it's something that a lot of people are probably judging, but they don't care. They're putting stuff out there they feel needs to be heard in the area and hyping up local football right now and probably other sports like basketball down the road.
Oh, for sure. And that's one of those kind of, you get anything like, same as us working in the gym industry, like you get people coming in and they're like, okay, this younger guy, like, I don't know about this. And then just like with people going to you, they're like, oh, wow, like he might be young, but he knows his stuff. They listen to one of the podcasts and it's one of those, okay, listen to it one time. It's like, wow, these guys really know their stuff. So
Absolutely.
It's one of those, age doesn't really matter. If you got something, go for it, and it's going to make a difference.
Yep.
So huge for sure.
So we're here at Iron Athlete Performance, myself, Patrick Thompson, and with the owner, Adam Wasson here. He's filling in for Doug Pinter this week. And we want to talk to you about no participation trophies.
Definitely.
What is that?
So, saw it up on the wall here.
Is this like a Drake song or something?
A little bit, trophies. No, so it's no participation trophies. That's just kind of the mentality we have. I mean, you'll notice it in your programming that I do for you. All my athletes know it. We always talk about it. You show up, you got to have the mentality.
Yep.
It's one of those, we kind of live in a participation trophy generation where you show up, put in a little bit of effort just for being there. We're going to give you a trophy, participation trophies, and that's
Pat on the back.
Exactly. Like that's not what we're about here at all. Like you come in, you put in the work, that's when you get the accolades. And it's not that you're going to necessarily get the accolades right away, anything that way. You got to keep working for them. So it's one of those, used to be that you would go to a tournament and one and done. Now it seems like any tournament you go to, it's like, okay, this is a quadruple elimination. So we got at least 4 games guaranteed. If you lose all of them by 50 points still, you're still going to get 8th place. We're going to give you a trophy and send you on the bus on the way home. Like, it's not that way. Like, we're going to come in here, you're going to put in the work. There's a lot of gyms, not going to mention any names, but there's some gyms like you go in there, it's just like, okay, like, we're going to do these, do some speed ladders, and then you're going to be all over Instagram, and we're going to make sure everybody knows that you were here, and you're going to get a lot of attention for that.
Right.
Like, no, we're not about that. Like,
Sure.
you're going to come in, you're going to put in the work. Like, I mean, I yelled at a few kids for Snapchatting and
Right.
doing stuff while they're in here. Like, you don't need to Snapchat your weights, dude. Like, you're doing that. People are going to know you do that when you come up
Yep.
and show it during the season. When you're coming off the line and you bust somebody, pancake them. Like I said, like Cody Wright and Weldy at Richwoods, like those are some of the guys that they were in here. They were putting in the work. Nobody knew that they were in here 4 days a week.
Right.
They didn't care if anybody knew that they were in here 4 days a week. But now that they're on the field, people know that they were doing something, that they were getting stronger, because they are. They're just throwing people around.
Right, right.
And that's what it takes.
And I know Cody, he did a 275-pound power clean.
Whew.
And was it a hang or a power clean?
It was a power clean.
And he's less than 200 pounds, I believe.
He's weighing about $185.
$185, so about my size, a little shorter. And I saw that the form was perfect. He was
beautiful.
very explosive, stood all the way up. He didn't get his legs weren't way out there.
Right.
It was textbook form, and I mean that's just shows that he's coming in. He's not looking just for a participation. He's looking to win.
Right.
Whether that's on the field, in the gym, or in the game of life. Because I feel no participation trophies, it correlates to life in general.
Oh, definitely.
And that's why I think being able to coach high school athletes like yourself here, you're able to teach them at a young age where I wouldn't say their brains are fresh. They haven't experienced too much in life.
Right.
But they're learning the right way to perform on the field, perform in the classroom. And then once they get to college, they can still have that work ethic. And then especially in the job field nowadays, this is
for
the
sure.
biggest one where I think if we're not giving kids high school. I want to say more so high school athletes, maybe junior high athletes as well. Don't be rewarded for just participating and putting in half the work.
Right.
Once they're 25 years old, like our age or so, you never know. I mean, that's where people just become lazy.
Oh, exactly. And that's one, I mean, you won the trophy you won, give you shout outs here. Like, you won Peoria Journal-Star's best personal trainer this past year. And that's when you had the 2 years.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry, guys. You won the past 2 years. Reigning champ.
Shelby LaBeouf from Anytime Fitness Peoria, he won it this past year.
Oh, he won it this past year. I thought, okay. Nice.
He was on there too, so don't let him fool you.
I mean, it's all right. But, no, that's one of those, like, you guys put in the work. Shelby, he's an up-and-comer. He's been doing great work. He lost a bunch of weight himself, so it's huge. But you guys didn't get those trophies just by showing up to the gym and kind of walking around like, might help some people today. Like,
do this, do that, you know.
Right. Like, you busted it. You worked your butt off, and you did the programming outside of it for people. You didn't see anybody on that list who just kind of went in there and, like we've talked about before, walks in and tosses stuff up against the wall, hopes something sticks for their athletes or their people that they're training. No, like, you guys put in the work. You did the programming beforehand.
And I think that's what Iron Athlete Performance is all about, because you do my programming, and Adam and I, we're good friends, and so we talk a lot. And I know Sunday evenings, Sunday afternoons, into the night, you're doing programming for my week, or even on a Saturday. You're not in here posting pictures and videos of like, oh, I'm doing this, like, and giving me something that's going to be half the work. I know that you're in here, you're not worried about participation, you're here to work, and what happens for the rewards is usually the work that's happening behind the scenes. That's what people don't see.
Oh, exactly. So, all right, speaking of it, let's talk about this no participation trophy. He's never been stronger protein.
Ooh.
So this is one, I'm going to brag on Pat's protein for a second here. He's the creator, so he's going to be humble about it, so I'll brag on it for him. This one, if you go look at any protein that you're going to find in the supermarket, most of them at GNC, how many ingredients are you seeing on an average protein?
Ingredients? Probably 25 to 30.
Definitely, and a lot of that's just artificial, fake flavoring. This one, how many ingredients you got in here? About 6?
In terms of the additive ingredients, like flavorings and stuff like that, I think there's probably 9 on there.
9 on there. So he's got 2 types of protein, both whey. It's not like a lot of those where you'll get a caseinate blend, a caseinate concentrate. These are both whey protein, fast-acting protein that you're going to get right after your workout. Goodness, man, there are no clumps in there. That is beautiful.
Yep.
Super smooth. Sweeteners in there. It tastes delicious. The reason he's got no clumps in there, nothing like that, there's nothing fake in there.
Exactly. All natural.
Stevia, cocoa powder. And then what's the last one in there? It's the thaumatin. It's a fruit extract. Adds a little bit more flavor in there to it. Completely natural. It's similar to monk fruit extract for a sweetener. So super natural there. Not supernatural. Super, natural. What do you got in here? You got 20, how many grams of protein are we looking at?
24 grams there.
24 grams of protein, 4 grams of carbs, 3 of those are sugars. Some people worry about the sugars. It's right after your workout. You need those sugars. That's going to be glycogen refilling, glucose storage, everything you need there. So,
oh man, thank you.
Super delicious. We got chocolate right now. You dropping any new flavors sometime?
We'll see. I don't know.
That's one of those, just like his pre-workout, you're not going to be finding...
Maybe Apple Jack's protein.
Ooh.
But you might have to put more sugar in it, sorry.
Got to put a little more sugar. We're not going to do those artificial flavors. We got to stick with the program there.
Yep, exactly.
Trust the process.
So, hey, my name's Patrick Thompson.
I'm Adam Wasson.
The Pinter and Patrick Show. Tune in next week. Doug will be out at Coyote Creek Golf Club.
It's going to be a fun one.